Alright, Vault Hunters, we got our weekly hotfix for Borderlands 3. Most of the characters got buffed, Moze got nerfed, they finally fixed the God Mode glitch for Moze, but today it's all about this man here, Zane. He's actually working really well after they've done all the patches. Apparently his skills are now functioning the way they should be. They've given Digiclone a buff from 75% to 130% extra damage, except we won't be using Digiclone today for this video. Instead, we're going to be using the barrier tree, which is actually really good now, and we're going to be prioritizing cryo damage. So let's look here at our weapons. We have the Lyuda, which is one of the best weapons in the entire game. I happen to have the negating vicious Lyuda, which gives us cryo damage. We have the Cryo Lucian's Call. You can probably use the incendiary version too, or if you have one of the other variants, but the Lucian's Call is an all-purpose weapon. We were lucky enough to get the cryo damage, so that's going to tie into our skill tree, which allows us to freeze enemies much faster. So we're always going to be freezing things with Lucian's Call. And we have the Auditing Butcher. You can use the cash-infused Brainstormer if you want to train the shockwave from enemy to enemy, but since we're running cryo damage, I thought this would be a very good weapon to use. And finally, I'm running the Flacker. If you want to have a fourth cryo weapon, you can, but the Flacker is great for crowd control. If enemies happen to be resistant on Mayhem mode, then this is the weapon to use. And we're using the Transformer. I have another great shield here that's an anointed operative shield, where we get double the shield capacity. If the shield breaks, we get it right back, and we get increased movement speed. But we're trying out the Transformer because for this build, you're actually going to be pretty tanky. You're going to be able to equip the barrier and get right up in enemies' faces and absorb damage. And there's a 40% chance to absorb the bullets, so the Transformer is always a good shield. My class mod gives me a boost for weapon damage and sniper damage. You might find a better class mod out there, but this is also giving us some extra abilities for the green tree. And my artifact is nothing real special, so if you find a better artifact for Zane, feel free to use it, but I'm going to show you my skill tree. So we're pretty much going to be maxing out the barrier tree, except for a few of these down the middle. We're going to prioritize action skill cooldown, and of course the ability that gives us brain freeze, so we can freeze more enemies. And the shield instantly starts recharging when we freeze enemies. You're going to see how that works when we put the barrier on. Pretty much whenever you freeze an enemy or kill an enemy, you have a great chance to recharge the barrier, so your barrier and your other action skill, your Sentinel, will keep going on sometimes for minutes on end. So I just want to leave this here for a second so you can see how we have it filled out. Then we're going to go over to the Sentinel Tree. You want to get violent momentum, which is always great to have with Zane. One of the great perks is that he moves so fast. You want to get salvation. After you kill an enemy, you get lifesteal for the weapons. So it's all about increasing our damage from kill to kill. So this isn't exactly a one-shot boss melter build, but if you're playing on Mayhem 3 and you're going into any of the challenge areas, this is a great build to have for Zane. Going to increase our reload speed, and we get increased effect and duration. This is another key ability you'll see. It's all about the most kills we can get to increase and prolong our action skill duration. Okay, and finally we'll have a few skills here on the Hitman tree, or the double agent tree. Whenever one or more Zane's action skills is active, you increase your gun damage. Whenever Zane kills an enemy, he and his Digiclone, since we're not using Digiclone, it doesn't matter, but this is for the increased Zane damage. And finally, some increased action skill duration for every action skill active. So I'm just going to show you some gameplay. We're doing a lot of freezing, we're doing a lot of melting at the same time, and it's a very good build for Zane. He's still not the best character in the game. He might still be the weakest character, but at least now he's working a little bit better. His action skills give you more bang for their buck, And if you get the right cryo weapons as I have, then it's a lot more fun to play Zane. Pretty much you want to prioritize cryo damage, because he makes the most out of freezing enemies. And without further ado, here's some clips.
for us all! You first!